Okay. We are recording. Welcome everybody. Today we'll be building the pencil holder project. Let me switch over to the document camera. Okay, so as far as PPE, we need our safety glasses and our gloves. Open the bag with the items for the pencil holder. We'll do a quick inventory check. These are the items that were already in your kit. They are not the new ones that I dropped off a couple days ago. So you should have already had these in your kit. There should be 3 rectangular pieces with 3 cutouts and some holes. And then 3 triangle pieces, all of them being different. The rectangular pieces will be the sides, and then the triangle pieces, we have a bottom, a middle, and a top. As far as new skills for this project, there really aren't none. It's going to be the similar process of deburring, bending, and installing the top rivets. So first thing, let's go ahead and take our deburring tool and deburr the triangle cutouts for this top piece. Going around a few times, nice and slow, trying not to slip and scratch the part. And this is the tool that absolutely requires gloves, because if you slip, you'll most likely cut your hand pretty bad. For me, it's actually easier to deburr it from like the underside to get that edge. For some reason, it seems to slide a little smoother. It is somewhat of a challenge to kind of deburr the thin sheet metal. Morning, Malvin. We are working on the pencil holder project. We just got started with deburring this piece. You can also take one of the small pieces of sandpaper and kind of sand that inside edge a little bit. Do the same thing for the middle section. While some of you are still finishing up the deburring, I'll kind of talk about the revisions or versions of this pencil holder project. So this is kind of in version 1. This was originally cut out on my CNC plasma out of steel because that's the material that I had available. I had a lot more of these cutouts. These are purely just for visual looks. So I actually got rid of some of them because it reduced the cost per part. And since there's 3 of them per kit, that was actually a significant cost savings just to turn it into 3 of those cutouts. This piece also didn't have the middle section. So when you take your pens and pencils and put them in here, I tested it and there's a chance that they'd actually kind of get stuck. So version 2, I put in the middle section, and that allows the pencil to kind of stay more upright and not get stuck and kind of trapped inside the pencil holder. So this is the final version, but cut out of steel. You can see it's starting to rust. Yours were laser cut out of aluminum. The next step, it's not really necessary for deburring, but it does make it a little easier to install the rivets. We're going to go ahead and take the countersink and give each hole a little twist. Deburr all holes. Give it a little bit of a chamfer. You only have to do one side. If you want to do both, that's also acceptable. These holes would possibly have a little bit more of a burr on them if they weren't ran through a belt sander. You can see that they kind of have a grain going to it. After they laser cut these parts out, they send them through a machine that sands them very uniformly, and that removes any burr. It kind of puts a nice grain direction on the part. I can actually see that if you look at two parts, one side actually looks different. That's because one side was ran through the belt sander to get it deburred. So this would be the back side. So we'll pay attention to that when we're assembling to make sure we have all of the sanded outside either facing on the outside or the inside. It does look slightly different, so I'll let you choose. They definitely wouldn't belt sand both sides unless the customer's paying for it. It's typically not required. You don't have to deburr these cutouts. There's really no way for your fingers to get in there to get cut, and you're not really interacting with the section right here as you would with the triangles for the pencils. So no need to deburr the cutouts on the square pieces. Okay, all parts have been deburred. I'll give you a few more minutes. The edges really don't need to be deburred around here. Once this is all assembled, we'll take sandpaper and just kind of deburr the whole thing. How's everyone else doing? Chris, Carter, Abdul Ali, Marco, Malvin, Orion, you guys awake? Watching? You following along?
Yeah, I'm watching.
Yep.
Okay. So we're about ready to start the folding process. So all tabs will be bent at 90 degrees, the same direction. So this is where you're going to pick, like for this piece, this will be the top. I would typically put the nicest side facing up. And this is my nicest side, this surface right here. So all my tabs are going to be bent down 90 degrees. Using the folding tool, bending 90 degrees, you can either eyeball it, that looks pretty good. You can also use the folding tool to kind of check that that is the 90 degrees. And then make sure the two tabs on each side line up with each other. I could have made this one tab, but it would have been harder to bend. This 2 inches or whatever it is pretty much the good maximum width for just bending with the folding tool. If it gets a little bit wider, it starts getting a little distorted. This would also be very difficult. I don't want to say impossible, but if I didn't have these cuts right along this edge, they're called a relief cut, most likely would not get a nice straight sharp bend and these projects wouldn't come together. So this cut allows it to be a lot easier to hand bend and a lot more accurate. So they are absolutely essential for the assembly of the parts. So that's the top. You're not really gonna see the bottom that much, so it really doesn't matter which side you pick to face up. And then you will be bending these. This is a symmetrical part, so whether you bend them down or you bend them up, it'll be the same as long as you bend all the tabs in the same direction, just like the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and bend these, checking for 90 degrees. Making sure they're all the same, lined up, look good. So that's the bottom piece. And the middle section, you're not really going to see it. So just pick a side and bend all the tabs the same direction. 90 degrees. These tabs feel a little bit harder to bend. Probably don't get as much leverage on them. So those are the bent tabs for the middle section. Give you some time to get caught up. Okay, we can now begin our assembly, but first with Clecos. So we'll take our Cleco pliers and our number 30 1/8" copper Clecos. And what you want to do is take your outside pieces, and you have the options of putting the belt sanded finish on the outside or the non-belt sanded finish that has some like fine micro scratches in it. I'm gonna go ahead and put the belt sanded finish on the outside. And most likely these were sanded pretty randomly. So they might have varying grain direction. And if I look at it, there we go, there's that. Yeah, it's actually all the same. You can see this part was ran in that way, so the wrong side was kind of sanded. It's no big deal. It's pretty hard to notice. What you could do if you wanted is take the small sandpaper and just go ahead and kind of lightly sand all the sides to kind of get your own sandpaper brush finish. Similar to what the belt sander does. This will kind of put some grain direction in. You can do it straight, you can do it kind of swirly. I'm going to do all my pieces the same layout, same direction. That looks good. Okay, now I'm happy with the sanded finish of the 3 outside pieces. They're all kind of going in the same direction. Maybe I'll hit this one just a little bit more right there. Okay. And now for the assembly. So you can put the cutouts in kind of the upper right-hand corner or the lower left-hand corner. It really does not make any difference as far as the assembly. I'm going to go ahead and put mine in the bottom left corner. Hopefully everything will be good as far as, should just fit together perfectly. Take some Clecos. I'm going to put a Cleco kind of in the middle. Once again, putting the cutout in the bottom left corner. You definitely do not have enough Clecos in your kit to fully Cleco this assembly together. We'll get it close enough with the Clecos and then we'll put in the pop rivets. Ideally, you want to put 1 Cleco in every hole, but sometimes that is not necessary or possible because you don't have enough Clecos. Okay, so I got the sides attached to the bottom. I'm going to take the middle piece. I'm going to put the tabs facing down. Get another Cleco.
Mr. Trapp, I think I'm missing some pieces.
What pieces? Who's talking?
Rodrigo.
Okay, let me see what you got.
Yeah, I'm missing this piece.
You only got 2 of those?
I only have 1.
Only 1?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really bad on my bad. Well, I have a bunch of extras, but they're right here. I'll get those in the mail. It's actually pretty cheap to ship to mail these, so you're just going to be on hold.
All right then. Sounds good.
And you checked all the other bags. I mean, there shouldn't be anything left in your kit.
I mean, the only thing that I'm left is this.
The new one that got dropped off. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, it goes to show that no matter how many times I count and check, it just sometimes errors happen, especially when they're done by a human. Rodrigo, if you could send me an email to confirm your address, I'll get the parts mailed today. Should have them tomorrow or the next day.
All right then.
Okay, I'll put a Clico in for the top. Oh, Rodrigo, another option, if you want to get to Hazen today, I have extra kits in the office area that are for students that haven't picked them up yet. We could pull parts out of there. But since there's no really timeline rush, I'll probably just mail them to you.
All right then. So do I just email you my address then?
Yeah, just to confirm, I have an address on Skylar. I just want to make sure it's the right one.
Oh yeah, it's the right one.
Okay.
All right then.
Okay.
So we can still get them.
What?
We can still get them from the school.
Yeah, I think Ryan, you don't have your kit yet, right?
Yeah, I don't. How many weeks are left?
We are about at the halfway point of this trimester.
So like 4,
Yeah. Well, no, there's like 6.
6
Six
in
weeks
this
left.
try.
Yep, in this trimester.
Swear.
If you look at the homepage of Canvas, it kind of shows you a weekly calendar schedule. Okay, once it looks like the pencil holder, everything's good. We got the top layer, the middle layer, the sides on. We will then install our 1/8" top rivets. Go ahead and line it up. Make sure you should still have the correct tip on your pop rivet squeeze. It's been a while since we used the larger rivets. Then give it 2 squeezes. And do your best to not slip and slide and scratch the part. And Orion, all these videos are uploaded in Canvas. So once you do have your kit, you'll be able to just do all the projects whenever you have your kit. So you can have your kit,
Okay.
get your kit this week or next week, that would be great. Just putting in all the pop rivets where I don't have a Cleco. And then I'll go and take all the Clecos out at once, then put in the rest of the pop rivets. Double check all rivets installed. And that is the finished aluminum pencil holder. Once you're finished, take a picture, upload it to the assignment in Canvas, and clean up your mess. We got a lot of rivet stems, throw away. It goes back in the bag. Tools back in the box. Make sure you throw all your shavings away in the garbage and pop rivet stems. Don't want to leave any of these laying around. Stop recording.